The global automotive market is going through a pretty turbulent phase right now. Sales are dropping, prices are climbing, and both consumers and car makers are having to rethink their strategies. Whether it's the United States facing affordability issues or China dealing with regulatory changes, the industry is feeling the pressure from all sides. These shifts are prompting companies to innovate and adapt, making the landscape more dynamic than ever. It's an interesting moment for anyone keeping an eye on the world of cars. The automotive sector is currently facing a series of significant challenges. Sales are declining in key markets, with both the United States and China reporting notable drops in new vehicle purchases. At the same time, prices continue to rise, making cars less affordable for many consumers, especially those in the middle class. These shifts are prompting changes in consumer behavior as buyers reconsider their options and automakers adapt their strategies. The industry is navigating a complex landscape shaped by economic pressures, regulatory changes, and evolving preferences. In January 2026, the United States saw a notable drop in new light vehicle sales, reaching their lowest point since early 2024. One of the main reasons behind this decline was severe winter weather, which made it harder for people to visit dealerships and slowed down overall demand. At the same time, high transaction prices, averaging nearly $49,200, put new cars out of reach for many buyers, especially those in the middle class. These combined factors created a challenging environment for automakers, who are now looking for new ways to attract customers and adapt to shifting market conditions. Over the past decade, the average price of a new car in the United States has climbed dramatically, rising from under $30,000 in 2010 to nearly $50,000 by the end of 2025. This steady increase is making it harder for many middle-class families to afford a new vehicle. As prices continue to rise, more consumers are being priced out of the market, leading to a noticeable decline in new car sales. The affordability challenge is reshaping consumer behavior, with many people choosing to keep their current vehicles longer or turn to the used car market instead. This shift is prompting automakers to rethink their strategies and consider new ways to make cars more accessible. Looking ahead to 2026, the American automotive market is expected to see a decline in new vehicle sales, with projections dropping to 15.8 million units. This marks the first annual decrease since 2022, reflecting ongoing affordability challenges as prices continue to climb. For the industry, this means manufacturers will need to rethink their strategies, focusing on innovation and adapting to changing consumer preferences. Consumers, meanwhile, may find it increasingly difficult to purchase new vehicles, especially as average prices approach $50,000. These trends suggest a period of adjustment for both buyers and automakers, as the market responds to economic pressures and evolving demands. In January 2026, China experienced a dramatic drop in passenger car sales, falling by nearly 20% compared to the previous year. This sharp decline marked the steepest downturn in almost 2 years and raised concerns across the automotive industry. To address the situation, the Chinese government quickly stepped in, introducing new regulations aimed at curbing aggressive price wars among automakers. These measures are designed to stabilize the market and prevent further volatility. As a result, manufacturers are now adjusting their strategies to comply with the new rules and restore consumer confidence. In China, the automotive industry has been shaken by intense price competition among manufacturers, often leading to aggressive discounting and unstable market conditions. To address this, the government recently introduced new regulations aimed at curbing these pricing strategies. The goal is to create a more balanced environment, where automakers compete on quality and innovation rather than just lowering prices. By limiting extreme price wars, authorities hope to protect both consumers and the industry from volatility, ensuring a healthier long-term outlook for the market. Facing a sharp drop in domestic demand, Chinese automakers are turning their attention to international markets. In January 2026, passenger car exports from China surged by nearly 50% compared to the previous year, as companies like BYD seek new growth opportunities abroad. This strategic shift aims to offset declining sales at home, where government regulations are tightening and consumer spending is slowing. By focusing on exports, Chinese manufacturers hope to maintain production levels and strengthen their global presence. This approach not only helps stabilize their business, but also positions them as major players in the evolving automotive industry worldwide. Chinese automakers are making a big push onto the global stage, with companies like BYD leading the charge in international expansion. In January 2026, passenger car exports from China jumped by nearly 50% compared to the previous year, showing just how quickly these brands are gaining traction abroad. This surge comes as domestic sales slow down, prompting manufacturers to look for new markets and opportunities. By focusing on innovation and competitive pricing, Chinese carmakers are reshaping the landscape of the international automotive industry. American automakers are responding to market challenges with strategic adjustments aimed at attracting new customers and adapting to shifting demand. General Motors is exploring innovative models and technologies to broaden its appeal, seeking ways to stand out in a competitive landscape. Meanwhile, Ford is placing a strong emphasis on electric vehicle development, reflecting the growing interest in sustainable transportation. These efforts highlight how industry leaders are rethinking their approaches to remain relevant and resilient. By focusing on innovation and evolving consumer preferences, both companies hope to navigate the current downturn and secure their place in the future automotive market. Ford is placing a strong emphasis on electric vehicles as a strategic response to shifting market demands and evolving regulations. With traditional car sales declining and environmental standards becoming stricter, the company is investing heavily in new electric models and technologies. This move aims to attract consumers who are increasingly interested in sustainability and innovation. By focusing on electrification, Ford hopes to remain competitive and relevant in a rapidly changing automotive landscape. Harley-Davidson, a brand long associated with freedom and iconic motorcycles, is facing a tough period. Recent reports show a significant drop in sales, highlighting how even established names are not immune to the challenges shaking up the automotive industry. The company's new CEO is working on a turnaround strategy, aiming to adapt Harley's image and offerings to changing consumer preferences. This situation illustrates the broader difficulties faced by automakers as they try to reposition themselves in a market marked by economic uncertainty and evolving expectations. Consumers are playing a pivotal role in reshaping the automotive market. Over recent years, purchasing preferences have shifted noticeably, with more buyers turning away from new vehicles due to rising prices and economic pressures. The middle class, once a driving force behind new car sales, is increasingly retreating from the market, finding new vehicles less affordable than ever. As a result, demand for used cars has surged, offering a more accessible alternative for many households. This evolution reflects broader changes in consumer priorities, as people seek value and flexibility in uncertain economic times. Economic conditions play a crucial role in shaping the automotive market. Inflation has driven up the cost of vehicles, making them less affordable for many consumers, while rising interest rates have increased the expense of financing a new car. As a result, buyers are becoming more cautious, and their purchasing power is noticeably reduced. These factors together contribute to declining sales and force automakers to rethink their strategies. The industry is closely watching these trends to adapt and remain resilient in a challenging environment. Automakers are facing a tough period, and to weather the storm, they need to innovate and diversify their offerings. The traditional business models are being challenged, pushing companies to rethink how they operate and what they offer to consumers. This means exploring new technologies, such as electric vehicles, and expanding into international markets. By adapting their strategies, manufacturers hope to stay relevant and resilient in a rapidly changing industry. The ability to evolve is now essential for survival amid ongoing market uncertainties. Government regulations are playing a major role in shaping the automotive market, especially in China. Recently, Chinese authorities introduced new rules to curb aggressive price wars among car manufacturers, aiming to stabilize sales and prevent further market disruption. These interventions are designed to protect both consumers and automakers, ensuring fair competition and avoiding sudden price drops that can harm the industry. By regulating pricing strategies, the government hopes to maintain a balanced market, though this can sometimes limit the flexibility of companies to attract buyers with discounts. Overall, these regulatory measures are influencing how automakers compete and how much consumers pay for new vehicles. Across the globe, the automotive industry is facing unique challenges in its major markets. In the United States, sales have dropped to their lowest levels in years, with high prices making new vehicles less accessible for many consumers. Meanwhile, China has experienced a sharp decline in passenger car sales, prompting government intervention to regulate pricing strategies and stabilize the market. To counter these difficulties, Chinese automakers are ramping up exports and targeting international growth, while American companies are focusing on innovation and electric vehicles to attract buyers. These varied responses highlight how each market is adapting to shifting economic conditions and consumer preferences. Looking ahead, the automotive sector is set to undergo some notable changes. One major trend is the digitalization of car sales, with more buyers turning to online platforms to research and purchase vehicles. Another emerging shift is the rise of car subscription services, offering flexible alternatives to traditional ownership. These subscriptions allow consumers to swap models or adjust their plans based on changing needs, making mobility more adaptable. As these trends gain momentum, they are likely to reshape how people access and experience cars in the coming years. As new car prices continue to rise, many consumers are turning to the used car market as a more affordable alternative. The average price of a new vehicle in the United States has nearly reached $50,000, making it increasingly difficult for middle-class buyers to purchase new models. This shift has led to a surge in demand for used cars, which offer greater accessibility and value. With fewer people able to afford new vehicles, the second-hand market is experiencing significant growth, providing options that better fit a wider range of budgets. This trend highlights how changing economic conditions are reshaping consumer choices in the automotive industry. The push for cleaner vehicles is reshaping the strategies of car manufacturers worldwide. As governments tighten regulations and consumers become more environmentally conscious, automakers are investing heavily in electric and hybrid technologies. This transition, however, brings its own set of challenges, including the need to develop new supply chains and adapt production methods. Companies like Ford and General Motors are exploring innovative models and technologies to stay competitive, while Chinese brands are expanding their electric offerings both domestically and abroad. Navigating these changes requires balancing environmental goals with affordability and market demand. Technological innovation is playing a central role in transforming the automotive sector. Advances in connectivity are making vehicles smarter, allowing drivers to access real-time information and enjoy enhanced safety features. Autonomous driving technologies are gradually reshaping how people travel, promising greater convenience and potentially safer roads. Electrification is also gaining momentum, with more manufacturers investing in electric vehicles to reduce emissions and meet growing consumer demand. Together, these new technologies are redefining the industry and pushing automakers to adapt to a rapidly changing landscape. Tomorrow's car buyers are expected to be more discerning and tech-savvy than ever before. They're looking for vehicles that not only fit their budgets, but also align with their values, such as sustainability and connectivity. Electric and hybrid models are gaining popularity as consumers prioritize environmental impact and fuel efficiency. Digital experiences like seamless online purchasing and smart features are becoming essential. As affordability concerns rise, future buyers will likely seek flexible financing options and innovative ownership models to adapt to changing economic realities. Startups and new entrants are shaking up the traditional automotive industry, bringing fresh ideas and innovative technologies to the market. These newcomers often focus on electric vehicles, connected mobility, and sustainable solutions, challenging established giants to adapt and evolve. By offering alternative business models and agile approaches, they push legacy automakers to rethink their strategies and accelerate their own innovation. This dynamic competition is reshaping the industry landscape, making it more diverse and responsive to changing consumer expectations. As the automotive market faces mounting challenges, the possibility of consolidation is becoming a hot topic. Companies are under pressure from declining sales and rising costs, which could drive them to consider mergers or acquisitions. Such moves might help automakers pool resources, streamline operations, and better navigate the current economic climate. However, consolidation also raises questions about competition and innovation within the industry. Observers are watching closely to see which players might join forces in the coming months as the market continues to evolve. The current crisis in the automotive industry is having a significant social impact, especially on employment. Many workers face uncertainty as automakers reduce production and adjust their strategies. Suppliers, who depend heavily on car manufacturers, are also feeling the strain, with some struggling to maintain operations. Regions that rely on the automotive sector for economic stability are particularly vulnerable, as declining sales and factory closures threaten local jobs and community well-being. These challenges highlight how deeply intertwined the industry is with the livelihoods of countless people and the health of entire territories. Looking ahead, the automotive sector faces several possible scenarios for emerging from its current crisis. Some experts anticipate a gradual recovery, driven by innovation in electric vehicles and strategic international expansion, particularly by Chinese manufacturers. Others warn that persistent affordability issues and shifting consumer preferences could prolong the downturn, especially in markets like the United States. Regulatory interventions and new business models may help stabilize the industry, but uncertainty remains high. Ultimately, the sector's resilience will depend on how effectively companies adapt to evolving market conditions and consumer demands. Navigating the changing automotive market can feel overwhelming, but a few smart strategies can make a big difference. If you're looking to buy, consider expanding your search to include both new and used vehicles, and be sure to compare prices across multiple dealerships. Timing your purchase around seasonal promotions or end-of-year sales may also help you secure a better deal. For sellers, keeping your car well-maintained and gathering all service records can boost its resale value. Staying informed about market trends and regulatory changes will help you make confident decisions, whether you're buying or selling. In summary, the global automotive market is facing a period of uncertainty, with declining sales and rising prices affecting both consumers and manufacturers. The United States and China, two major players, are experiencing significant drops in vehicle sales, driven by economic pressures and changing consumer preferences. Affordability has become a major concern as the average price of new cars continues to climb, making it harder for many people to buy. Automakers are responding with new strategies, such as expanding internationally and focusing on electric vehicles. Overall, the industry is adapting to a challenging environment, closely monitoring market shifts and regulatory changes to ensure long-term sustainability. Even though the automotive market is facing some bumps in the road, staying informed helps us navigate these changes with confidence. By understanding the trends and challenges, we can make smarter choices and adapt to new opportunities. Remember, every industry goes through ups and downs, and innovation often emerges during tough times. So let's keep an eye on the news, stay optimistic, and look forward to what the future of mobility might bring.